You could be preparing to go to Mars, the Great Reset explained. Yet another ruse, this time capitalizing on the recent advancements made in spaceflight and engineering. This premise is made to entice and win over the scientific community. Yet at its core, it's concerned with genetic manipulation of the human genome, thus creating hybrids. Hybridization. The field of reproductive biology is concerned with the act or process of mating organisms of different varieties or species to create a hybrid. Hybridization occurs through human effort and open in the wild through cross-pollination. In plants, especially in agriculture, it's deemed important where applied to come up with a hybrid crop that is, for example, both hardy and disease resistant. In animals, ligars, tigons, and mules are examples of non-genetically engineered, non-invasive hybrids. For thousands of years, humans have used breeding methods to modify living things or organisms. Fruits, vegetables, domestic animals like cattle, and even pets such as dogs have been selectively bred over generations to have certain desired traits. Within the last few years, however, modern advances in biotechnology have allowed scientists to directly modify the DNA of living things on a genetic level, thus creating genetic hybrids, commonly referred to as GMOs. Because genetically modified animals are still more or less in the research phase, we look to the past with more natural techniques in order to get a glimpse of what the future may hold. The African killer bee. First introduced to the forests of Sao Paulo in Brazil by Professor Warwick E. Kerr in 1956, the African killer bee is a hybrid of the East African lowland honeybee with various European honeybee subspecies. In an effort to increase honey production, Professor Kerr selected the East African honeybee colonies for their prolific, productive, and industrious characteristics or nature. The hybrids, however, produced the exact opposite results. They were less efficient foragers, stored less honey, and produced less brood. In addition to that, the Africanized honeybees are typically much more defensive, react to disturbances faster, and chase people up to 400 miles further than other varieties of honeybees. They have killed some 1,000 humans, with victims receiving 10 times more sting than from European honeybees. Their venom is also known to have killed domesticated animals such as horses. Ligars and tigons. The term ligar is a blend of the words tiger and lion and denotes the offspring of a male lion and a female tiger. The term tigon is the opposite. Chance encounters do not happen often in the wild due to differences in geographic locations. Majority of hybrids are therefore zoo-bred. Both lions and tigers have 38 chromosomes, similar mating habits, and reproductive anatomy. So while in captivity, they reproduce easily. When born, they exhibit visible characteristics from both parents, and in the case of tigons, cubs have both spots from the mother and stripes from the father. This, however, is where the similarities or synergy ends. Ligars tend to be larger and heavier than their parents as a result of having no growth-limiting genes. They often acquire birth defects that result in death shortly after birth, and since they're prone to obesity and abnormal growth, it places stress on their internal organs, so they have shorter lifespans overall. However, for tigons, growth-limiting genes are found in both male tigers and female lions, so their offspring possess an abundance of these genes, which accounts for their smaller size. Additionally, both have problems interacting with members of their parent species because their behavioral traits often manifest as a mix of habits of both species rather than either one or the other. Most, if not all, are sterile. Ironically, there are more genetic similarities between humans and chimpanzees than between lions and tigers. Humans. Humans share a certain percentage of DNA with other animals. For example, 99% with apes, 99% with pigs, 96% with chimpanzees, 90% with cats, 84% with dogs, 80% similar to cows, 73% zebrafish, 65% with chicken, and so on. The molecules of DNA in each of these animal cells hold instructions. These guide what an animal looks like, how it behaves, and according to scientists in this scenario and others like it, can help in resolving multiple challenges. The ability to breathe unaided on Mars, whose atmosphere is primarily composed of 95% carbon dioxide, and although Earth's proximity or close distance to Mars allows for missions to launch every 2 years, there are planets further off that may require humans to hibernate, consume less liquids or foods. This is in addition to any cosmetic changes that people may inevitably want to make on themselves, as well as an increased desire to live longer, look younger, run faster or as fast as the fastest mammals on Earth, or equal the strongest. Genetically modified human hybrids, however, would raise the question of trademark and patenting, ownership of pseudo-human genetic lines, and there would be a proliferation of zoonotic diseases, given that hybrids act as a bridge or go-between for diseases animal to human and vice versa, and ultimately, these scientific endeavors would challenge what it means to be human. Conclusion. Jurassic Park is a 1990 science fiction novel written by Michael Crichton. A cautionary tale about genetic engineering, it presents the collapse of a zoological or animal theme park, showcasing genetically recreated dinosaurs to illustrate subversion of natural phenomena and their real-world implications. In a film of the same title, one of the characters, a mathematician by profession, questions the validity, if not outright ethics, of the entire endeavor and simply states, scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not that they could, that they didn't stop to think whether they should.